Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates and I'm ready to start my new project. It is time to start my Cabinet of Curiosities junk journal. And this is probably going to be the biggest project that I have undertaken to date. I am using this beautiful collection, Cabinet of Curiosities from Ciao Bella, as my inspiration. I won't do a complete flip through. I've done one before. I'll probably flip through it again when I create the signatures, but just to give you an idea, isn't this absolutely gorgeous? This is beautiful paper, but those are just a few of the pages just to give you a sneak peek into this collection. It is beautiful, but I'm going to set this aside because today we want to work on the cover. I cannot put together my signatures until I figure out exactly what size they're going to be, and that will be based on the cover. And this will be the cover of our Cabinet of Curiosities junk journal. So this is just a large K-cup. It's a coffee pod. It's the 32 pack. So it's just a very large box. And my thought is I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and then I'll show you what I'm thinking as far as using it for our project. I'm going to measure and it's just shy. Let's see. It's just a smidge over 7 1/4. I'm going to say this is probably pretty close to our center mark. You know me, it doesn't have to be exact. I just need to be center-ish, center adjacent. Maybe I'm a little bit off. I don't think that I am. It's hard to tell once you put the ruler down exactly though. All right, we're going to try to cut down. See, this just doesn't look very center to me. I mean, it feels like I should go right down this spot right here, don't you think? But that is not what I'm measuring. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. So forget measuring. I'll probably regret that later, but oh well. This top is definitely coming off, so I can start cutting this apart. And this bottom is definitely coming off, so I am going to cut this. I mean, who needs measurements? Certainly not me. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to keep all 4 sides intact, and I just want to cut the bottom and top of the box. So if you're wanting to play along, and yours definitely does not have to be this big. Definitely not. And as a matter of fact, you know, you don't even have to do this the way I'm doing it because I've never done this before. And so I didn't even practice it. So we're not even 100% sure that this is going to work. This is just me having an idea and going for it because that is what I like to do. But when I do it this way, then you guys get to see all the mistakes and then how we fix them. And then also, it might give you inspiration to try something else, something different, you know, that I just didn't even think of. Let's see. There we go. I figured that that would come apart, and there, that'll make that much easier. All right. And then now that I've got it laid out, I'm going to continue cutting until I've cut away the entire top and bottom sections, keeping all 4 sides intact for now. All right, so here are my thoughts. Let's talk through this real quick. This is the back. These are my side panels. I'm going to do a gatefold junk journal. Yes. So what I'm thinking is that it opens like a cabinet because it is my Cabinet of Curiosities. And then I'll have 3 signatures and 3 signatures possibly two to three signatures. I don't know. So I don't know if I'm doing 5 or 6. I don't know what's going to make more sense. I don't know what's going to fit in here, to be honest. So my thought is when you open it up, these fold up, open, and then everything kind of goes to the side, right? And then you're able to flip through your signatures here, and you're able to flip through your signatures here, which means these would go backwards. So I'll have to remember that when I'm planning those signatures, that these will be, you know, kind of backwards. But I think that that disorientation provides a little bit extra for the whole Cabinet of Curiosities vibe. So I'm going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. Worst case scenario, I end up attaching all of the signatures to one side. I still have my gatefold opening, but all the signatures are on one side. Does that make sense? I hope that that makes sense. Okay, so let's think about how we're going to reinforce this. This is not super thick cardboard. I'm going to be putting several layers of paper on it though to help reinforce. But what I also want to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and add some packing tape because I really want to reinforce these corners right here. If you can see, they have large perforations on them and I don't want them giving out at some point. And I'm going to do the tape so that it does overlap. I'm fine with the overlapping on this side. We'll fold it over. All right. And this will give me some stability. It'll make sure that these two corners stay in place as well, that all of that stays intact. And I'm doing this on my Teflon mat because, as you can see, I didn't want it sticking to my paper. All right, let's fold this up, give it a press, fold this down. I'm going to burnish this. All right, same here. And I kind of wonder if I should. Well, I mean, I wondered if I should, and then I did it, so now it's done, and it doesn't really matter if I should because I did it. The only unfortunate thing is that I didn't do it on the other side first, and now I've got tape down. Let's see if we can wiggle it out, maybe. Is it going to come out? I always have to do this the most difficult way possible. Okay. Now, I'm going to finish this off on this side and make sure that the entire section is covered. And I'll trim that there. And let's burnish it, make sure it's covered really nice. We want it to be nice and strong, nice and sturdy. All right, and then I'm going to fold this over just a little bit. All right, we look good. I think we're nice and burnished. Let's take the bone folder and see if we can still bend. And it looks like we can. Good deal. So hopefully you've got some packing tape. If you don't have packing tape to do this with, you can definitely use washi tape. It won't be as strong, but once we get the paper over it, it'll all stay together. It'll still help it keep together. But if you do use washi tape, I recommend gluing your washi tape on for sure. I do want it to have some flexibility still because, again, this is not super thick. I'm going to have to leave these on because this is actually what holds this flap on. So I will have to leave this little section on, which is fine. But I am going to go ahead and tape that up as well. So let me flip it back over. And then I want to make sure it's far enough over. I don't want it to go past this mark right here for sure, but I also want to make sure it's far enough over that it's going to hold this little section on, right? Fold over and burnish. I'm gonna fold this over and burnish again. All right, this is long, so that's why I'm doing it separately instead of together like the other one. Instead of at the same time. And again, this has just been a vision in my head, and I'm hoping that it works. And logistically, I think it should work. And then if it doesn't, you know, I've got a fix for it. We've got a solution. I mean, and at the end of the day, if we have to scrap the whole thing and then just make our new cover, then that's what we do. I think it'll be interesting, so let's try it. Let me make all the mistakes. All right. And you know, if you're not this adventurous and you just want a standard junk journal that you can open, but you also want to do something like this, a Cabinet of Curiosities, or you want to just try your hand at doing a large journal with a really large spine. This spine is quite large. I have no doubt that I would be able to put at least 5 signatures on here. And it is 3 3/4, so that's quite big. I would not have a problem, I don't believe, adding 5 signatures to one side. That should be plenty of clearance. All right, again, we're going to go ahead and fold this over and give it a good burnish so that we still have some flexibility. And again here, there we go. All right, so that is done. I'll move this out of the way. Now I've got to think as far as covering this, what that is going to look like. I don't have a decorative piece of paper that is going to cover this from end to end. When it's opened up, it is, I mean, like 22 inches. And so I just don't have a piece of paper that is going to handle all of that. So, and I also don't want to paint it. I really want to wrap it in paper because I would love to wrap something over these ends to protect this cardboard. I have this packing paper. It comes in your little Amazon packages, right? And I'm thinking, because it is long enough and it is super thin, I think that I am going to wrap it in just this base, and then I'll be able to add my decorative paper in panels. I'm going to just do this a section at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the center though, and then we'll work our way out. I think I'm going to use a combination of the PVA glue that I have and then my 1-inch double-sided tape. And that's how we're going to get this down. I think that will do it. Hopefully I have enough tape. I might have just enough, or I might run out, which is fine. I need to order more of this 1-inch double-sided tape. I absolutely love it, and I've been using it a lot. Sorry if I get quiet, because I haven't actually practiced this. I'm thinking through this as we're going, and so I might get kind of silent. I'm trying not to be, but it might happen. All right, so I got that burnished down. And let's see if I can pull up these strips relatively easily. First one down, 2. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. My tummy growled. I'm a bit hungry. Haven't had much today. And it's getting close to dinner time here. And I haven't even decided what I'm going to do. But I'll probably make terrible decisions because I'm hungry and I haven't pre-planned dinner. It's usually what happens. Okay. Got this down. And then let's go ahead and apply some of this PVA glue instead of using up all of my art glitter glue. I was able to find some art glitter glue locally and have it shipped. So, because it is still, we have a cold snap coming this Saturday, I believe, this Saturday evening, or maybe it's Sunday here in Texas, because normally in November, I think it's usually like in the upper 60s. Typically, that's the typical November weather, and it has been in the 80s. So it's still been quite warm, but you still have that, you know, low-hanging sun, kind of that yellowish sunlight that you get during the fall, and the leaves have changed colors. It's in some places, and it looks like it should be cool, and I put my sweater on and I walk outside and I'm like, nope, nope, it's a slap in the face. It is not cool. It's very disrespectful. I mean, 80 degrees is nice, but it's not that fall weather. So I can't wait for it to cool off a little bit. There we go. All right. One side down. Let's keep going. I think I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because I'm just going to be attaching this base to the paper. Okay, so I have the packing paper covered on the back side of this, and I am going to start again with the center section. I am going to leave this paper quite long for now. I may end up trimming it up later, but I kind of want to go ahead and get all of my cuts in and then try to figure out if this is going to fold properly. So I'm actually just using the same method that you would to cover a regular junk journal. Nothing special about it, right? So I'm mitering these edges right here where these little seams go, because when I fold this over, I don't want that paper to end up bunching along the score line in the center. So I'm going to continue to do this everywhere that there is a score. And I'm just going in a little bit. Let me flip this over. I'll do the same on this side. It's kind of hard to see it. I think I'm pretty off on this one here. Let me see. Yeah, I was pretty off on that one. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. We'll find out soon enough, though. I tried to give these a good fold all the way across when I was doing it so that I could see the fold line on this paper. So as I was wrapping them over, I was trying to crease this. And I did run out of my 1-inch double-sided tape, as you saw. So I will, in fact, have to order some soon. I'm going to go ahead and just put down a couple of strips of this 1/2-inch double-sided tape. I think this is the 1/2-inch. That should be enough to cover this. The only part that's going to be a little bit tricky is these little edges here, but I'll figure it out. We got this. It's got some curves to it, and I may end up just having to cut a couple of straight lines, and then I might be able to do that. There we go. Actually, let's go ahead and glue this part down before I get overly excited. I know that the double-sided tape isn't going to go all the way to the end here, so I'm making sure that I'm gluing on this packing paper instead of on the cardboard, so that the whole thing, when I fold it over, is attached. All right. There we go. And that is down. This is very thin paper, this packing paper, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted a very thin paper. So if you're doing this along with me and you're wanting to cover, I would use tissue paper as a good option. If you have some tissue paper that would give good coverage. Tissue paper is a good option. Wrapping paper. If you have some wrapping paper that would actually coordinate with this, that's perfect as well. I wanted something nice and neutral for my little background, so that's why I chose this packing paper. All right, there we go. First side down. I'm going to speed the rest of this up. I'm going to continue to fold around the edges all the way down. And there we go. There it is. That didn't take too long. It's still quite thin, but again, I'm going to be adding more paper to it, so it'll be fine. Okay, at this point, what we typically do is cover this entire piece with another sheet of this packing paper, but I'm not going to because I plan on covering the majority of this with paper panels, but I do want to make sure that these seams are covered so that they're not peeking through. And I think that what I'm going to do is put washi tape down. I have some of this fabric washi. It's the 49 and Market Plum Grove. I really like the width of this purple, but when I go back to this paper, I really think that this right here is the one that is going to work the best. So I'm going to use this bit of like a burnt orange kind of a color, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue to help keep this down. And I'm going to use my art glitter glue with it to help keep it down. And I am going to go ahead and put it right down the length of this score line. So let me find the end. I'm going to go a little bit over on both sides, and then I'll just trim it up. Kind of smooth that out. It's especially important to me to use this because I'm putting it over this packing tape, so it's got a really slick surface. So I really want a strong adhesion here. If I did not put art glitter glue, this washi would never stay. That is for sure. But with that art glitter glue, it should stay. All right. Trim that. And then again, right here on this end. Let's see. I want to get right up on the edge, so that's why I'm going a little bit over on each end. Get that pressed down really well. I want it in that groove. All right, and then last one down here. I'm really excited about this project. I think it is going to be so pretty. I knew I wanted to do a nice large journal, and so I've been planning it for a while. I've been picking up a lot of stuff for it, but I knew that it was going to have like the largest number of signatures that I've ever done. It's going to have probably 6. I'm thinking it'll probably end up with 6. I'm just going to use my bone folder to kind of work these grooves here. All right. I'm going to flip it over and give it a trim. Trim all the way down. All right, remove this. And again. Okay. So now we at least have the basic construction of our Cabinet of Curiosities junk journal cover. And then I can start working on the signatures because I know exactly the height and the width of the signatures that I'll be putting together. And then once those signatures are together and I know exactly what they look like, then I'll be able to go in and do some more decorating on the actual cover, and then we'll add some sort of a closure, but that'll come later. My next video will be to work on the signatures and to start assembling those and work through how I'm going to separate those sections and what kind of themes that they're going to have, because I really want this to look like, and I know it's Cabinet of Curiosities, but I really want it to have a nice flow, like there's sections, like you open it up and then you kind of just move your way, through it, and it makes sense. All right, if you have any questions or any comments, any suggestions, please put them down in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. Thanks for spending some time with me, and until next time, bye.